All right, guys. So today is going to be the final lesson for our methods unit. It is not going to be a long lesson, and if you've been doing all of your homework for the previous days, there really should be no new concepts here. It should be pretty straightforward. This is the style 4 method. Now, a style 1 method was one that had no parameters and no return. A style 2 method, which was the second lesson, was one that had parameters but no return. Style 3 was one that had no parameters and a return. And logically enough, this last method is going to bring everything today for a method where you are both going to accept parameters and return a value. Okay, so you want to use a different method depending on the situation that you're in, but as long as you know how to send parameters, or rather send arguments, and as long as you know how to return a value from a method, then you know everything you need to know. Now, the purpose of this program is to find the maximum of two different numbers. I have a method which accepts two parameters, which will be the two numbers you're trying to find the maximum of. It does a quick calculation, finds the maximum of the two numbers, and then returns those. Okay. Now, this would be a style 4 because I am both accepting parameter or parameters. In this case, I'm accepting two integers, and I am also returning an integer. Okay, so I have a method which calculates the maximum of two numbers. I took all those lines of code that I did, I packed it up into a box, set it aside, and each time I need to find the maximum of two numbers, I simply call upon it. Now, I didn't take the user input, even though I could have. User inputs two numbers, send those two variables down. Just for the purpose of this example, I internally created two numbers, but know that you could use a scanner to accomplish the exact same thing. I have num1, which is 12. I have num2, which is 10. Okay, and I simply call upon this method from within my printout statement. I find the maximum between num1 and num2. This will return whichever one is larger, and it will print it directly out. To give us the printout statement, the maximum of 10 and 12 is 12. Okay? And if I change these numbers, for example, let's say I make this 125, I might want to change my output, right? The more variables you use, the less you're going to have to change. So perhaps I should have used variables in here. But the maximum of 125 and 12 is 125, right? So Um, again, style 4 method both accepts parameters and has a return type. Your method header is always going to start with public static. Instead of void, you specify the data type of which you will be returning, right? The variable name, camel case, not the variable name, the method name in camel case, and then your parameters in the parentheses and the curly bracket to open up. Notice that I am specifying both of my parameters and my return type in my method header. Very important. Okay. So again, if you've been doing your homework, this should be nothing new. We're just taking the concepts that we've learned and pulling them all together. So make sure that you're completing the homework for today, starting the assignment for this unit, and let me know if you have any questions.